Hey everyone, the Game Piecer. Welcome back to Temtem Up, the competitive series where we go over our competitive matches, giving you our thoughts and analysis of our decisions and going over the match as a whole. Today we have a match against Pikaz. This is the first match of Temtem Up for the new Kisiwa update, so we got some new Kisiwa Temtem to show off today, so let's get right into it, everyone. So taking a look at the ban phase, looks like they're going to ban Gialis first off the bat. That makes sense as they have Barnshee, Grumper, Drakash, and even had Kinu at that point to want to defend. I go ahead and ban their Kinu. Protector is a pain if you're not going to deal with it. Getting those defense buffs every single turn it swaps in is very unfortunate to deal with if you aren't capable. I do have the Vulffy to deal with it, but I found that getting Kinu out of there is really more beneficial in the long run. So I go ahead and pick the Vulffy and Vulffy to counter his Tortonite pick here at the beginning, and he goes ahead and picks the Skunch, I'm assuming to try to deal with the Vulffy directly, as Vulffy is a major threat right now in the metagame. But then we go ahead and go into the second bans. Go ahead and ban his Nidrasil, as we do have the Vulffy, but Nidrasil still is very bulky and hard to deal with, and he goes ahead and bans my Tuvine. Again, that makes very much sense because he does have a lot of things that are going to be weak to my Tuvine here. Go ahead and pick the Nagais and Ukama, and he picks Barnshee, Grumper, and his move flank for the last picks there. Let's go ahead and get right into it now. So he's going to go ahead and bring out Skunch and Tortonite for the first two, and I bring out my Vulffy and my Vulffy here. I really wanted to try and take out the Skunch here first and foremost. That was going to be the biggest threat for my team. Didn't really have a whole lot to deal with it besides the Nog in the back, but I had a lot of things that really did not want to take a lot of damage from the Skunch, including the Vulffy and Vulffy here on the field. Really was in my best interest to get this out as fast as possible. So I went ahead and plagued into the Skunch, knowing that he was probably going to swap out his Tortonite there. So I also doubled into it with a Feather Gatling here. Not quite enough to pick up the KO, however it is trapped onto the field now, allowing me to pick up the KO the next turn. So I go ahead and swap out into the Kinu, figuring that he's going to go for some sort of attack onto the Vulffy with the Skunch there, but he actually ends up going for a Tornado into the slot, and this does quite a significant chunk of damage, as we'll see here with an Air Specialist Barnshee. Nothing to scoff at, you guys. Air Specialist, hand fan, of course. So we go ahead and go for a Plague, outspeeding the Skunch, going ahead and taking that KO there. That's very beneficial for me in the long run. Vulffy, of course, here not wanting to take any sort of melee hits at all, so definitely something to be mindful of. Goes ahead and brings back in the Tortonite, not wanting to take a Crystal Spikes or lose my Kinu. I go ahead and swap out into my Vulffy here, and he goes ahead and actually goes for the double swap. I'm not sure if he was trying to go for a pivot probably here, but he goes ahead and brings in his move flank, and we go ahead and take a Hypoxia. We actually take that pretty well as far as Vulffy goes here. Really was expecting to take maybe a little bit more damage from that, but we go ahead and go for the Lifeful Sap Vulffy, getting Lifeful Sap here and access to a bunch of moves to increase its sustain on the field. But Barnshee swaps out and brings back in the Tortonite there. Of course, not really expecting me to go for any sort of wind type move on to the Barnshee slot, so very smart play on my opponent's part there. Go ahead and go into the Plague onto the move flank, and go ahead and try to lower its stamina as well as trap it onto the field. Mooflank, of course, was going to be another major threat for me to deal with here, and I wanted to get it off the field as soon as possible. Go ahead and go for the Toxic Plume there. I kind of didn't know if he was going to swap or stay in. I wanted to get some extra sort of chip damage on both sides just in case he did stay in with his Barnshee. But he did swap out, so anyway, we go ahead and swap out into Kinu and bring that back onto the field to get that Protector buff, and Baton Pass is going to activate, healing up 8% of Kinu's HP. Of course, we're taking the Goring. We really didn't want to lose our Vulffy there, so that was a perfect swap, and we went into the Feather Gatling for Tortonite there, which goes ahead and takes out a pretty sizable chunk of its HP, with Tortonite increasing its defenses with Stonewall, and Mooflank picking up the Unnoticed buff there as well. But anyway, Mooflank goes in for a base jump onto the Kinu there. I'm assuming he's just trying to take it out with the combination of base jump and Crystal Spikes here. But we go ahead and double into the Mooflank slot to try to take out that major threat there, knowing that there's not really a whole lot left he can do with the majority of Tems that he has in the field. So he actually goes for a Tortonite's Garden here to try to deal with the Vulffy, knowing in the back there's not really a whole lot left that he has that can take it out effectively. So Tortonite's Garden going to apply the Doom effect onto my Volorend there. I'm going to have 3 more stacks left of Doom, and then Volorend's going to faint after those stacks count down. So he goes ahead and brings in his Grumper here. I'm not really terribly concerned with losing my Volorend at this point. There's not really a whole lot that Volorend's going to have to do here left to make the win count. So going into the next turn here, Tortonite's going to fire off a Crystal Spikes, hoping to hit the Kinu slot, but goes ahead and hits Vulffy, and we go ahead and go for a Feathered Gatling into the Tortonite, taking it down to 36% while Grumper goes for a Thunder Strike, and we're going to eat that up fairly well. I was actually surprised at how well we took this Thunder Strike here. So it does a little under half HP on Volorend, and he's going to swap out his Tortonite here the next turn and bring back in the Barnshee. We're going to go for a Plague, expecting the swap here, and trying to get that Grumper out of here as quick as possible, and going for the Noxious Bomb, of course, onto the Barnshee, expecting the swap as well. So able to take out a pretty sizable chunk on that Barnshee with that swap there, over 50%, very sizable amount of damage there, and that Grumper is going to go ahead and go for a Stonewall, of course, in that last turn. We're going to go ahead and bring our Doom stack down to 1. Knowing that we can't really do a lot, I could have went for a Plague onto my Volorend to try to keep it alive and knock off the Doom there, but I figured it was more beneficial for me to go for the KO and pick up the KOs here rather than try to save my Volorend. So I do go ahead and just go for the Noxious Bomb and allow myself to let the Doom overtake Volorend and faint it, but I did get the KO on the Barnshee there, so it was an even trade in my opinion. So Thunder Strike coming out from the Grumper here onto the Vulffy, and we completely eat that up. Vulffy is seriously one of the best new Tems introduced in the Kisiwa update. So Doom coming in, taking out the Volorend there, not really concerned about that at all. I have enough Tems in the back to be able to deal with any sort of situation that comes out here with the Tortonite that he wants to bring in. So I go ahead and bring back in the Ukama here to deal with the rest of the Tems on his side of the field. Going to be some pretty easy cleanup here. Go ahead and go for a Water Cannon to deal with the Grumper. And then I do try to go for the Dust Vortex on to our Tortonite here, but Tortonite actually going for Crystal Spikes before, dealing a little under half HP to Ukama there. But Dust Vortex, as you'll see, does not unfortunately take out Tortonite. That Turban mattering there, that gear item, of course, decreasing the attack power of Earth moves added into the Tem. So we go ahead and bring out our Kinu, and we go ahead and go for one final Aquatic Whirlwind for the win. Very good game to my opponent, Pikaz. Very nice to see some of these new Kisiwa Temtem in action, and a lot of fun overall. Very good game to my opponent. Thank you so much for the match. I hope we get to play again. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We will be doing much more of these in the future, so you do have plenty to look forward to as far as competitive action goes on this channel. Plenty more Temtem Up videos to come, as well as we're going to be doing some videos on some more in-depth looks at some of the Temtem and their capabilities. So hope you guys are excited for that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more Temtem content in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.